Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Sports Shorts Daily. Ronnie Rantz, Tommy Krysan, USA, 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 LSU baseball. Those are the two big topics of the weekend. Tommy Krysan actually watched live hockey. That's how big the United States gold medal game was, TK. Didn't watch the whole thing, wouldn't expect that of you to watch the whole thing. That man, but you did watch the most important part, the third period and overtime. United States with an amazing victory, in hockey, their first gold medal since 1980. How did the watching the gold medal game live and watching it live and seeing the reaction and all that and the win in overtime? How did that compare to you to say some of the other bigger sports moments? Whether it be the Saints going to the Super Bowl or LSU winning a national championship. How did was it on that same level for you?
Right below that level. Obviously, when the Saints won the Super Bowl or when LSU won a baseball or a football title, that's got to be a little bigger because of where I'm at and what I do. But and I know a little bit about hockey. I know what icing is. I can kind of get understand the flow a little bit. And knowing it was the gold medal game, I did put it on and watched it. I think I can keep up with the puck fairly well, pretty good. But just knowing red, white, and blue, America, the whole story, the hockey, the women won the hockey so maybe hockey's the American kingpin now. I don't know, but it was exciting. Anytime it's USA against somebody else, the Olympics are over now, but I enjoyed watching. I'm glad I flipped the channel on and got to witness it in person. And of course, we've seen all the stuff that's come after.
Yeah, the United States and men and women beat Canada in the gold medal game to win the championship. Both do it in overtime as well. And right now, I mean, it's with what's going on between President Trump and the Canadian Prime Minister and everything like that. The United States and Canada were brothers in arms forever, and now there's this a little bit between the two countries, which hopefully will get resolved. So that added a little juice to this. It's nothing's ever going to surpass 1980 when the United States beat the USSR back in the day. And you had amateurs going against pros. You had the Cold War, all the things, right? And this wasn't that. These are two teams of professional hockey players, all NHL players that play against each other all the time. A lot of them are teammates, and now, okay, for 3 weeks they go against each other. So it's not the same thing at all. And the United States were, a lot of people had picked them to win the gold, where back in 1980, the United States were picked to finish seventh or eighth, and they ended up winning the gold medal. So quite different, but still thrilling and exciting. And I love kind of reminiscing, Tommy, over the last couple of weeks about the 1980 deal. There's a documentary on Netflix, Tommy, you got to watch about the 1980 hockey team that came out a few weeks ago. They got you ready for the Olympics. It's amazing. They take all the hockey team from 1980, bring them to Lake Placid for a reunion, and then they talk about it and they tell their individual stories. And it's amazing when you learn more about Herb Brooks and that team. What they accomplished might even be more incredible after watching the documentary than in real life. But than it was. But still, super thrilling. The United States with more gold medals in this Winter Olympics than ever before.
Yeah, it really did. It was special. I think the win over Russia, which was actually a semifinal game, is more to it
Mhm.
because of the amateur versus the pro type thing. But to wait 46 years to get another gold medal, I think that adds some juice to the story. And it was in Italy. It's not like they were skating in New York or Chicago or somewhere. So I just think it's a great story. It's going to be around for a while. And even like you turned on the golf broadcast yesterday, and they're like, "Hey, congratulations to the hockey team." It just kind of resonated across the board, even though, in the South, hockey's not, I know we have the Zydeco here in Baton Rouge, but it's not as big as it is, and certainly in the Northeast and the Midwest.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people on social media are saying, hey, congrats to the United States hockey team. I mean, our fourth sport beat Canada's one and only sport. And I think that's pretty cool. I didn't really get a chance, Tommy, to watch a ton of the Olympics. My I guess the way we take our entertainment is different now than it used to be, when you had 3 4 channel options or you had just cable only. Now that you have all this on your device, whether it be social media, whether it be all the different apps, you have too many choices, and the Olympics isn't in your face as much as it used to be. It used to be that's all you saw, all you heard. Now people's algorithms don't even have it if you're not a sports fan. So it's different how we consume it. So I didn't really watch as much as I used to.
No, I didn't watch as much, but like you said, when we were younger. You had sports on TV, limited amount. The game of the week, maybe a special edition, and then when the Olympics came around, it gave you, a bunch of hours of sports competition, whether it was the Winter Olympics or the Summer Olympics. So you kind of got into it a little bit, and then the whole, red, white, and blue America thing, USA. I mean, that's part of it. I have friends who participated in the Olympics, as you have as well. So when you talk to those people and they tell you how different it really, really is when you got USA on your chest, it's something I never experienced, never will. But there's something to it for me being just a sports enthusiast.
The Jerry Seinfeld, stand up routine that he did back in the '90s in one of his comedy specials, where he talked about the Olympics, and my favorite part is where, and it's so true then, it's still true now, is, these people train all their lives, speed skating, for example, let's just say, right? I mean, nobody's beating down the door to go watch speed skating. Most places in the United States don't have a speed skating track, right? And you'll train all your life. You put in millions of hours of training. You won't eat an Oreo. You're gonna make sure your diet is correct. You're gonna pass up on alcohol and parties and all that because you got training. And then all of a sudden, as Jerry Seinfeld says, this is gold, this is soft, this is silver, this is last. Like gold, silver, last. My favorite little bit that he does. I mean, the difference is that much, between being on a Wheaties box and being somebody that no one knows, Mr. Irrelevant. And I find that fascinating. Like in college, for example, at LSU, I used to always be amazed at the swimmers, because the swimmers would, they would probably work harder than anybody. They're usually going 2 times a day. They'll go dry dock, they call it, where they don't get in the water, and then they go in the water. They put in so many hours, and you know who goes to swimming meets? No one. Not even their family, boyfriends, and girlfriends. A lot of the times, nobody goes. They spend as many hours or more than anyone on that campus, and no one knows they're a swimmer. Nobody cares they're a swimmer. Like it's just their love of the sport, and that's the part of the Olympics that I enjoy. Is when, especially these sports we only care about, once every 4 years. They put so much time and effort into them.
Well, I think you and I being athletes of some sort back in the day, I can watch and appreciate what you just said, the work they put in, the time, the effort, the years of training, a lifetime of training for many, many people. It's just, because, we knew what it took to do whatever we did. And when you look back, you could have done a few things different. That's everybody. But no, that's the respect I have, knowing what they put in, whether it's speed skating or, some of these other events that I know nothing about. I understand and respect that. So, that's part of it.
Let's talk a little LSU baseball. Was in Jacksonville this weekend for that series, the Tigers sweep. They're now 8-0 on the season. They sweep a series against some teams you've heard of: Indiana, Notre Dame, and Central Florida. And none of these teams are going to do amazing things. These aren't, I've seen better from each of these schools as far as in the recent past. But and really, through the first 7 games, maybe 2 of them, but there were 4 or 5 of them, of those first 7 games. Not talking about yesterday. We'll get to that in a minute. The first 7 games of the year, LSU, I would say, didn't really play a clean sheet. They didn't play their best from start to finish. They had some wins where they didn't have quality starts from their starters. And it's, had little bobbles. They looked just mediocre for 5, 6 innings, and then, turn it on and look like Thunderbolt for 1 or 2. Sunday, different story. 11-0, they knocked off Central Florida in only 7 innings. William Schmidt, the sophomore from Catholic High, who one of the highest, turned down $2.5 million, out of high school to come to LSU. Lot expected about William Schmidt, maybe a little too much too soon. Well, yesterday was a big start for him, his second of the year. His first one a week ago against Milwaukee, Tommy. He went 4 innings. He gave up 3 earned runs. He walked 3. This was against a little, neutral site, a little better competition, and he had a fantastic outing. Went 5 innings, didn't give up anything, just absolutely 3 hits, commanded the zone, dominated in the strike zone, and was 95, 90, 94, 96 with a hammer breaking ball, and looked like the William Schmidt that LSU fans were hoping to see last year.
Well, he has definitely progressed from last year, and he's going to continue to progress. And the more you get out there on the mound, the more you do it with this coaching staff, Nate Yeski, and what they do with the pitching. There's a plan, and I think if Schmidt keeps progressing, I mean, he can be that guy that you can count on, or like your coach, Coach Bertman, always said, you need a guy that 8 out of 10 times in the SEC, he's gonna give it to you. If not more. So Schmidt's got that potential. He's got that upside, and he's playing on a really good baseball team, and he'll do his part.
Yeah, and there's so many stars to talk about offensively. I mean, LSU's got. They don't have anyone in their starting lineup hitting under 300. I think everybody's 300 or higher in their lineup. They, and in only 8 games, but still super impressive start. Jake Brown's probably been the best player on the team for the first week of the season, the first 8 games of the season. Aaron Beatty, the sophomore, already with 3 home runs through the first 8 games, has clearly the best option behind the plate, and got to getting it going offensively. Just lots of different people stepping up. And that's the thing about this team, Tommy, is that they legitimately, in my opinion, have about 13 position players that are almost interchangeable, right? You're not, and Stanfield didn't even play this weekend. They're
Right.
starting left fielder who didn't even play this year. And uh, Jay Johnson talks about him as like their best player on the team. So Stanfield not being in there, and they didn't miss a beat. They've got some serious depth where, like I said, 13 guys, maybe 14 guys, you could literally put in a bag, pick the starting 9 and not miss a beat.
One thing, didn't Stanfield lead the team in hitting in SEC games last year?
I believe he did, yeah.
And you and I, as we get forward in this season, we look at the SEC stats a little, just that. Once they get once you get them 9 games played, 3 series in, and it's still, so don't sleep on Stanfield. He got a bruised hand or something, so he'll be back. Tigers have a 5-game homestand coming up. With the game Tuesday night against the McNeese Cowboys. And then you got Dartmouth and Northeastern coming in a Friday through Monday thing. So next 5 games are during the day for LSU.
And Northeastern, I know this isn't ULM, University of Louisiana Monroe, or the former Louisiana North. This is Northeastern up in the northeastern part of the United States, and they were a really good team a year ago. They were a regional team, had some really big time numbers, won a lot of games. So and they've got a good squad again this year. So that's going to be a little better matchup than you would think. Dartmouth, LSU will destroy them by
Yeah.
a couple
10-run
touchdowns,
rule.
but.
Yeah.
But Northeastern is actually a decent challenge for the Tigers. They do have a good challenge this Tuesday, but tomorrow they take on the McNeese State Cowboys, who beat Louisiana Tech a week ago on the road midweek. So, and Justin Hill, the former LSU Tiger player coach, is their skipper. So that'll be a good one. A midweek game means a lot to them. They'll bring a lot of blue and gold over from Lake Charles, no question about it. Uh, so LSU gotten off to about as good a start as they really could. You can't do better than 8-0. They went over to Florida, and I felt like they got better than they were a week ago against better competition and playing with a ton of confidence right now.
Also,
LSU hoops. Let's talk about LSU hoops for a minute. The women, they're fourth currently in the league in the SEC. They are 10-4 on the season and fourth place in the SEC. Big win yesterday. At home this week, Tommy?
yeah, they'll be at home against Tennessee on Thursday. Tennessee's ranked, but they're not like a top 5 team
Yeah,
because
they're
they
barely
crushed
ranked.
Missouri yesterday. Ronnie, in the game against Missouri, you ready for this? They had you saw the rebound total for
Uh-uh.
LSU 72. 72 rebounds yesterday. Now Missouri only shot 20-something%, so that contributed to that. But 72 rebounds for the Lady Tigers yesterday.
Was Angela Reese back in a uniform or something? I mean,
I don't
that was
know, man.
crazy.
I don't know if a
That's got to be
couple
a
of guys.
typo.
No, it's not. I had a couple of guys dressed out, some 6'10" guys or something. I don't know, but
Wow.
no. So the women continue to roll on. Men continue to struggle. They'll be at Ole Miss Wednesday. They're 2-12 in league play, and decision time's coming. For Burge, Osbury, and LSU. Do you keep McMahon? Do you try to give him another year, or do you make a move? That's going to be a question we're going to learn about in the next bunch of weeks.
Well, LSU men 2-12. They got 4 games left to play. So obviously, the best they could even do is 6-12, which is less than what they thought they would do this year. So, the only reason you would keep McMahon and his staff is if you literally are tapped out. That's it. I mean, and again, you and I don't know the economic resources that they have at their disposal for 20 million in potential buyouts between McMahon and staff, and then you got to overpay to bring somebody else in. We clearly don't understand the economics, don't know the economics, would have never in a million years dreamed that LSU would pay $54 million to get rid of Brian Kelly. Even by people that are high up on committees and boards and all that closely associated to LSU, they were saying, before they fired him that they didn't have the money to fire him. So things have clearly changed. I don't even begin to try to figure out LSU economics or where this money's coming from or how they even pay it. It must be some sort of special Geico credit card program, you balloon payment at the end. I don't know. But bottom line is, yeah, sure, they absolutely should make a change. You would think normally they probably would, but on the heels of Kelly and hiring Lane Kiffin and all that and NIL and rev share, do you care enough to go in more debt? So we'll see. It's going to be an interesting couple weeks to see what Verge and the athletic department and the board of supervisors and all them end up doing, Tommy. What else we had in the world of sports?
Well, you got Major League Baseball spring training games are going on all day and evening. You can catch some of that if you want. Jacob Bridgman, first career win on the PGA Tour. Wins out there in Los Angeles. Tour moves down to South Florida. And, of course, the PGA Tour will be in New Orleans late April.
All right, well, I'll be doing the game tomorrow, the LSU McNeese game. I'll be on the call. I think I've got 10 games between tomorrow and March 10th, I believe, Tommy. And then I'll do some more after that, but a big slate coming up. So we'll talk a lot of LSU baseball, get a chance to really get a feel for them. I watched, obviously, all 3 games this weekend in person, and then we'll be on the call for 10 games. So we'll right before the 10th, the first SEC series for LSU baseball is on the road in Nashville at Vanderbilt. That'll be St. Patty's weekend, that the weekend before St. Patrick's Day, where you have all the parades in New Orleans and Baton Rouge and different things going on. But that's that weekend. LSU, you got the Savannah Bananas are in at the Superdome that weekend as well, Saturday, Sunday in New Orleans. So a lot going on that weekend, but LSU will be on the road in Nashville. So we'll have a prediction right before that weekend series of what we think their record will be. We'll put it on the record for TK and I. All right, Tommy, we'll be back on Wednesday for more Sports Shorts Daily. Until then, tell us about Tremonti's as we get out of here. Or tell us about Court Street Cafe, excuse me.
Yeah, breakfast, lunch, dinner. I had a bunch of people in here eating breakfast this morning. Jason and the staff do a super job. Connect with them on Facebook and Instagram. It's a great way to keep up. Lunch specials, dinner of the week, drink specials behind me in the full service bar. A great place to watch the ball game. Plenty of TVs in here, but you really need to check out the food. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Saturday night is steak night. There's Sunday brunch, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's really fantastic. Right here in Port Allen, just a couple of minutes over the Mississippi River Bridge. Plenty of parking. They got a patio for when the weather gets nice. Court Street Cafe in Port Allen. Hit them up on Facebook and Instagram. Do check them out. Don't forget to like and share this show, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or X. Like and share this show. And look for some shorts, some YouTube shorts, some clips from today's show later today and tomorrow. Check it out at your convenience. But do like and share this show and tell all your friends about it. Tell your coworkers, your neighbors, people at the office, people at the ballpark when you go out there for a youth game, whatever it might be. Sports Shorts Daily, back Wednesday morning with another episode. Until then, have a great day, everyone.